In our last chapter, we performed the essential purification. We identified the 7 toxic mindsets that dissolve fortunes, clearing the ground upon which a true legacy can be built. Now that the foundation is clean, the work of creation begins. Welcome to the 3rd chapter of The Alchemist's Ledger, the formula of coagulation. In ancient alchemy, coagulation was the process of turning a liquid into a solid, of bringing something tangible and stable out of a fluid, chaotic state. In finance, the market is that chaotic state, a swirling ether of speculation, noise, and fleeting opportunities. Our work today is to pull from that chaos a single, solid, and almost invincible asset. This is not a stock tip. It is a lesson in architecture. We are going to learn how to identify and understand the blueprint for a financial fortress, a business so dominant, so protected from competition that it functions less like a company and more like a kingdom, collecting tribute from the world for generations. This structure has a name, and it is the single most important concept in the Alchemist's playbook.
The financial fortress. This is the very definition of an invincible asset. In the brutal and unforgiving landscape of medieval Europe, a kingdom's survival depended not on the size of its army, but on the strength of its castle. An army could be defeated in the field, but a well-built fortress could withstand any siege. It could survive the harshest winters, the most determined rivals, and the relentless passage of time. In the world of finance, nothing has changed. Every great company, every truly generational asset is a financial fortress. The business itself is the castle, and its long-term survival depends not on a single popular product, but on the depth and width of its economic moat. The moat is the single most important concept in the Alchemist's playbook. It is the invisible barrier, the structural advantage that protects the castle from invasion by competitors. While the amateur investor is dazzled by the castle's beautiful flags, its latest product, or its charismatic CEO, the alchemist ignores the flags and inspects the moat. This moat is not made of water, it is forged from 4 powerful, almost magical elements. Sometimes the moat is a powerful brand. It is a name so deeply embedded in the human mind that it becomes a permanent piece of our cultural furniture. Think of Coca-Cola. The name itself is a fortress, built over a century with billions of dollars in advertising. A rival can create a better-tasting soft drink, but they cannot buy the memories, the nostalgia, and the global recognition that the name Coca-Cola commands. That brand is a moat of loyalty that is almost impossible to breach. Other times, the moat consists of high switching costs. This is a fortress with walls so high and a drawbridge so difficult to cross that its citizens, the customers, find it too painful to leave. Think of the bank that holds your mortgage, your checking account, and your investments. The thought of moving all of that, the paperwork, the automatic payments, the direct deposits, is so exhausting that you simply stay, even if a rival offers a slightly better deal. The inconvenience of leaving is the moat that protects the bank's profits. And in its most powerful form, the moat is a network effect. This is a fortress that grows stronger every time a new citizen enters its walls. Think of a credit card company like American Express. The more customers that carry the card, the more merchants are forced to accept it. And the more merchants that accept it, the more valuable the card becomes to its customers. The network itself is the defense. The kingdom's very size becomes its shield. The alchemist understands that the product being sold is almost irrelevant. The fortress and its moat are everything. And here is the crucial shift in perspective. A company with a deep, wide moat is not really in the business of selling you something. It is in the business of taxing you. It has achieved a position of such dominance, such structural power, that its profits are no longer a reward for innovation, they are a tribute paid by a captive audience. You are not buying a company that sells sugary water or banking services or payment processing. You are buying a piece of a kingdom that has the permanent, unchallengeable right to collect a small tax from a significant portion of the global economy. The first step in the formula of coagulation, therefore, is to stop looking for dazzling products and start training your eye to see these hidden moats. The alchemist's great work is to become a master scout, capable of identifying these indestructible fortresses in a landscape littered with vulnerable camps.
Within the kingdom of a financial fortress, there is a special kind of structure. It is not the castle keep nor the high walls. It is something far more elegant and far more profitable. It is the indispensable toll bridge. Imagine a great ancient city, a hub of all commerce, divided by a wide, treacherous river. For centuries, the only way to cross was by a slow and dangerous ferry. Then, a visionary builder spends a decade and a fortune constructing a magnificent stone bridge. It is a masterpiece of engineering, its arches strong enough to withstand any flood. Once the bridge is built, the work is essentially done. A single toll collector is hired, and now every merchant, every traveler, every piece of cargo that wishes to move from one side of the economy to the other must cross this bridge. The toll is not exorbitant. It is a small, almost painless fee, but it is paid day after day by thousands upon thousands, creating a torrent of predictable, ever-flowing cash. The owner of the bridge does not need to innovate. He does not need a marketing department. He does not worry about his competitors, because there are none. He simply owns the choke point. This is the most beautiful business model in the world, and the alchemist understands that these bridges are hidden all around us, often in plain sight. Consider the invisible bridges that span the globe of modern commerce. When you use a credit card to buy a cup of coffee, your money must travel from your bank to the coffee shop's bank. The bridge that allows for that instantaneous, secure crossing is the payment network, a Visa or a MasterCard. For allowing your $5 to cross, the network collects a tiny, almost invisible toll of a few cents. Now, multiply that tiny toll by the billions of transactions that happen every single day in nearly every country on Earth. The result is one of the most powerful and profitable business models ever conceived. A rival cannot simply build another bridge. The cost of replicating that global network of banks and merchants is practically infinite. The amateur investor is obsessed with the trucks that cross the bridge. They worry about which trucking company is the most innovative, which cargo is the most popular this year. Is it coffee? Is it electronics? Is it clothing? They spend their lives betting on the trucks. The alchemist ignores the trucks. They know the cargo will always change, and the trucking companies will fight each other into bankruptcy. They are only interested in owning the bridge itself. Because the bridge does not care what is being transported. The bridge does not care which trucking company is in fashion. The bridge only knows that commerce must flow, and as it flows, the tribute will be collected. Owning a piece of an indispensable toll bridge means you are no longer betting on a single company's success. You are taking a small, quiet, and perpetual commission on the very act of capitalism.
A fortress of stone is a powerful defense. An indispensable toll bridge is a source of effortless wealth. But there is another kind of moat, perhaps the most potent of all. It is not built of physical materials, but of pure intellect. It is a fortress whose walls are invisible, a bridge whose toll is collected in the mind. It is the power of a secret formula. In the world of alchemy, the ultimate goal was to possess the magnum opus, the great work, the secret recipe that could create gold. In finance, this is a literal reality. The most durable empires are often built not on what they physically produce, but on a single, secret idea. Consider the perfect example, the Coca-Cola Company. What is the physical product? It is flavored, carbonated sugar water. From a purely material standpoint, it is trivial to replicate. Any competitor with basic chemistry knowledge can create a similar tasting, brown, bubbly liquid. If you were to analyze the company based solely on its physical assets, the bottling plants, the trucks, the vending machines, you would fundamentally misunderstand the source of its power. Because the amateur sees a beverage company, the alchemist sees an empire of intellectual property. The real company, the source of its staggering wealth, is an idea. It is a secret formula famously locked away in a vault in Atlanta. It is a brand name, a perfect red and white script that is more recognizable to the global population than almost any other symbol on Earth. It is a century of carefully cultivated nostalgia, an emotional connection that links the taste of the drink to memories of summer, of happiness, of a shared human experience. This is the secret formula in its truest sense. It is not just a recipe, it is an incantation of chemistry, marketing, and psychology. A rival can build a factory, but they cannot build a time machine and replicate the last 100 years of global memory. A competitor can create a drink, but they cannot legally call it Coke. The company's physical factories could burn to the ground tomorrow and the business would survive. Why? Because the true asset, the idea, would remain unharmed. This is the nature of a secret formula moat. You are not investing in a company that makes things. You are investing in a company that owns a legally protected, culturally embedded, and psychologically powerful idea. You see the same pattern in a pharmaceutical company with a life-saving patent, or a tech giant with a proprietary algorithm that no one else can decipher. The product they sell is merely the vessel. The secret formula is the treasure contained within. When you own a piece of such a company, you own a monopoly not on a product, but on a specific, deeply ingrained human desire, and that is a source of power that is almost impossible to overthrow.
We have learned to identify the financial fortress and its most powerful designs. A novice, armed with this knowledge, might now believe the work is simple, find the most perfect, indestructible fortress in the world, and buy it. This leads us to a profound and dangerous paradox, a lesson that separates the merely knowledgeable investor from the truly wise one. The most perfect asset is often the worst possible investment. This is the law of the price of perfection. To understand this, imagine you are not an investor, but a master gemologist. You are presented with a diamond. It is the most perfect diamond in the world, flawless, perfectly cut, with a fire and brilliance that takes your breath away. It is by every conceivable metric the single greatest diamond on Earth. The amateur collector sees this gem and is overcome with desire. They see its perfection as the ultimate prize. The appraiser confirms its value is $1 million, and the collector eagerly pays the price. They are proud. They have acquired the best. They have made no mistake in judging the quality of the asset. But the alchemist, the master gemologist, looks at the same transaction with a quiet sense of tragedy. The alchemist also recognizes the diamond's perfection, but their primary question is not, is this a perfect diamond? Their question is, can I create value from this transaction? And at a price of $1 million, the answer is no. When you pay the perfect price for a perfect asset, you have left no room for error, no margin of safety, and most importantly, no room for growth. You have simply exchanged one form of value, cash, for another, equivalent form of value, the diamond. You have not created wealth, you have merely transferred it. Your best case scenario is that the diamond's value keeps pace with inflation. Your worst case scenario is that the market for perfect diamonds cools and you are left with a loss. The alchemist knows the real work, the real creation of wealth is not found in buying perfection at a perfect price. It is found in the search for imperfection. They seek out the dusty, uncut stone that holds a flawless diamond within it. They look for the beautiful gem that is being sold by a distressed owner who must part with it for half its true worth. The amateur asks, is this a great company? The alchemist asks, at this price, is this a great investment? These are two profoundly different questions. The landscape of the stock market is littered with the portfolios of amateurs who have done nothing but buy wonderful companies at terrible prices. They have paid the price of perfection and are left wondering why their fortunes do not grow. The alchemist, therefore, is a hunter of discrepancy. They seek out the gap between the current price and the true underlying value. That gap, that discount, is the source of all profit. It is the margin of safety that protects them from error. It is the fertile ground in which wealth is actually created. They know that perfection is not a goal, it is a ceiling. And the art of alchemy is not to admire the ceiling, but to build the foundations brick by brick from the ground up.
We have journeyed far.
We have learned to identify the financial fortress, to recognize the indispensable toll bridge, to value the secret formula, and to understand the profound danger of paying the price of perfection. The amateur, standing at the foot of this mountain of knowledge, now makes a predictable and fatal error. They try to do everything at once. They look at the vast, complex portfolios of the world's great dynasties and feel a paralyzing sense of overwhelm. They try to conjure a palace from thin air, and in doing so, they achieve nothing. The alchemist knows this is folly. An empire is not conjured from the ether. It is built, stone by single stone. Your great work, the true formula of coagulation, is not to build an empire overnight. It is to focus all of your energy, all of your research, and all of your capital on acquiring your first, single, perfect stone. This first stone is not a speculative bet. It is not a fleeting stock tip. It is the physical manifestation of all we have discussed. It is a piece of a financial fortress. It has a deep, wide, and understandable economic moat. It is purchased with discipline at a significant discount to its true underlying value. It could be a single share of a dominant global company. It could be the title to a small income-producing piece of property. The form is less important than its character. It must be an asset of such high quality that you would be content to hold it for the rest of your life, even if the market were to close for a decade. And with that single act, the most profound transmutation occurs. The moment you own that first stone, you are no longer a speculator hoping to get lucky. You are a founder. You are no longer a consumer trading your time for money. You are a custodian, a true capitalist commanding an asset that works for you while you sleep. This first stone is the foundation upon which your entire dynasty will be built. The small tribute from this first holding becomes the seed capital for the second. The dividends from the first two stones help acquire the third. This is the slow, silent, and unstoppable process of compounding made real. An empire is nothing but a mountain of these perfect stones laid one on top of the other with the patience of 1,000 years. Your great work, for now, is not to buy. It is to begin the search. It is to scour the landscape of the market, using the principles we have discussed to identify your first stone. When you find it, all the theory in the world will become a tangible reality. Thank you for joining us inside CapitalSanctum. We have now learned how to purify the mind and how to lay the first stone. In our next chapter, we will learn how to accelerate the work. We will explore the law of multiplication, the alchemical secret of using debt not as a chain, but as a lever to conquer the world. To continue your journey into the art of financial alchemy, subscribe to CapitalSanctum and gain access to the principles that are not shared with the outside world.